Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today on the Dungeon Dive, we will take a look at Doom Pilgrim, a work of interactive fiction in a deck of cards from Warclaw Games, designed by Warclaw Trayer. Doom Pilgrim recently went through a successful crowd sale on GameCrafter, and I was part of that. I did purchase this game, and it has recently started shipping, and it is available for purchase on GameCrafter. Doom Pilgrim is a very simple game. It is so simple that the rules are actually just printed on the box. And all you will need to play this game are the deck of cards within the box. You will need to print out a character sheet, and these are available on GameCrafter or from Warclaw Games website. And then you will need a pencil and an eraser. This is kind of a game book style game, similar to something like Escape the Dark Castle, but probably even more of a work of interactive fiction than Escape the Dark Castle is. I would say this is less of a game and more of just a work of fiction. If you are into weird fiction, if you're into things like Michael Sisko or Thomas Ligotti, or maybe even some of the weirder fantasy fiction from like Robert E. Howard or Michael Moorcock, things like that, then Doom Pilgrim is definitely up your alley. If you like things like the From Software games, or even music like bands like the legendary Pink Dots. And for some reason, I'm really thinking of the legendary Pink Dots when I play this game. And I think that is because of Warclaw's absolutely amazing and evocative and otherworldly art. His art, or their art, reminds me a lot of the covers from many of the legendary Pink Dots albums. And I will put some of those up on the screen right now so you can check those out. If you have never listened to legendary Pink Dots and you are into experimental music or psychedelic kind of industrial music, you might want to check out that band. And if you get into them, you are in for a world of just of exploration, because they have something like 80 albums. They've been making amazing albums since the late 70s, and they just recently put out a new album last year. And so, yeah, one of the Dungeon Dive's favorite bands of all time, legendary Pink Dots. But this game is very simple, so let's talk through it a little bit. It is kind of deceptively simple. The game is based on, or Warclaw was highly inspired by idle games, by clicker games where things happen depending on the state that you encounter them. So there's no dice rolling in this game. You won't be making any stat checks or combat checks or anything like that. As you encounter things, the story will tell you, hey, if you have this, or if you have that, or if you don't have this, if you do this, then do this. Everything is presented in the text, and you will be faced with choices, and you will have to make choices. And depending on those choices, you might receive more keywords. You might receive weapons or magical weapons, different kinds of companions, different ranks, badges, real estate. You might have some battle equipment, such as armor or different kinds of clothes, provisions, a miscellaneous section. And so as you start to acquire things on the cards, then you will write down the keywords of the things that you acquire. The way you win the game is you go through all of the encounter cards in the deck. Depending on how long you want to play, you can play a game that uses all 90 cards, you can play a game that uses 60 or 30 cards, or you can play a really short game of like 10 cards. It's totally up to you how long you want to play for. The way you lose the game is you accumulate too many bad things. So if you ever lose paired limbs, such as both feet, both legs, both hands, both arms, you lose the game. If you ever accumulate 3 different diseases, you lose. If you ever have 3 curses, you lose, or 5 wounds, or things like psychic drops. And psychic drops is kind of a catch-all of all kinds of things, all kinds of bad things that can happen to your character. If you ever have 3 of the same type of psychic drop, then you lose the game. So right now, my character, I have a cursed axe, and that cursed axe gave me the badge, or it gave me the curse of violence. So I always have to choose the most violent choice when I come across something that I can be violent about. I am Sir of the Dead Tree. I have a cheerful philosopher following me. I have the badge of killer. and I have rabies, and I have a one psychic drop of depression, and that's basically my character right now. So here's how you play the game. Again, you will take your whole deck of 90 cards, you can shuffle those, and then deal out however many cards you want to play with in that particular adventure. Then the rest of the cards are put to the side, and those are considered to be in the box. Then you will take the cards that you are playing with on your adventure, and you will shuffle those up and make a stack. The cards that you have already encountered are laid face up, and these are called your past. And the past is face up, so you can always kind of look back to remind yourself of the things that you have discovered, of any rules that might be listed on these cards, any kind of interactions that you might need to refer to. So far in my adventure, I came across a castle of the magician. I stumbled upon a doomsday prophet, and the doomsday prophet actually gave me rabies. I met the philosopher in the iceberg hermitage there. And I went to a village during harvest time where I could trade with the members of the village, but I didn't have any money, so I couldn't partake in that. Then I became knighted under the dead tree. I've become the Sir of the Dead Tree, but that also gave me a mind disruption +1, which is a psychic drop. But I was able to heal that when I went to 3 Castle, I believe. I was able to heal that psychic drop. And then I met this wandering executioner, and that's where I got the cursed axe from. And so now I am about to embark on the next part of my journey. So the way you do that is you will take the rest of your cards and you will deal out 3. And then you will look at the pictures and you will kind of choose what you want to do based on the art. And this way, it's almost kind of like a tarot style kind of divination game. These are the fate. These represent the things that your character might come across. These are his or her future. And it's all based on the art and how you feel about your selection. So each turn, you will have 3 cards to choose from. 1 card goes back into the deck, and you will never, or back into the box, and you will never encounter that card in that game. 1 of the other 2 cards goes to the bottom of your deck, which means you will probably encounter that later. And then the card that's left is the card that you will encounter. I'm really feeling this card right now. This card looks a little deadly, so I'm going to put this back in the box so I won't encounter that on my game. I'll put this card back in underneath the deck, so I might encounter that later. And then the card that we have to encounter now is this card here. Really nice card here. A couple of castles with a bridge, maybe some storm clouds coming in. Let's read about this. And this is called the Split City. Only a narrow bridge over the bottomless pit connects 2 parts of the old city. Acceptance awaits you in one part, doom in the other. But into which one you have just come? Astrological constellations decide. Is it odd or even day of the month today? Read only the applying. What is the date today? I need to go check. I'll be right back. Okay, today is an odd numbered day. So that's kind of cool. That's a neat little mechanism. So odd. Okay. You have been ambushed in the dark alleys of the city slum. If you give them all your money, they let you go. Okay, I don't have any money. If you do not have any or don't want to pay, get 2 wounds. Okay, so we will have to take 2 wounds. So I'm going to write down 2 wounds there. So I've marked off 2 wounds. And remember, I can take 5 before I die. And before that is game over. In the tussle, no ordinary equipment helps you here, as the city thugs know the streets and their trickery very well. You can invest getting 1 more wound to kill the leader of the pack and get his cloak of shades, which will save you from physical death in combat once, leaving 1 hit point to you and the cutthroat to your foe, losing its magic power and then increasing your insanity and dismay each by 1, as you experienced a fearful moment in purgatory where it let you hide from the finishing blow. So that will protect me from a wound, but then it'll give me a whole bunch of bad stuff. And I would have to take another wound in order to get that cloak of shadows from the leader. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pass by, just taking my 2 wounds. So I scrape through the split city there. And now I make my way on to the next part of my journey. So we will draw 3 cards here. And then I will choose 1 to put back in the box, 1 to put at the bottom of the deck, and 1 to encounter. I want to encounter this bearded man here. I'm going to put this back in the box. We'll put this underneath the card deck there, and now we will encounter this bearded man. Hermit from the Gray Valley. Hey you, who do you think you are? A brave warrior, but as I see it, you are just a maggot. A great alchemist, maybe? The one who knows the most secret arcana? Well, more likely, you are just a pile of shit. Or do you think you're a reformer, a savior of the miserable society? Heh, pig, vomits, and feces are way better than you. And you know what? Kill me, torture me, crucify me, or kiss and hug me like your little sister if you prefer, but it won't change a thing, for deep inside, you know I am right. Your days are nothing. Wow, this guy is really, really depressed here. So I get a +1 to depression and a +1 nihilism. So those are considered psychic drops. So now my depression is actually +2. So if I get depressed one more time, I lose the game. But then I'm also have a nihilism of +1. Wow, that guy is no good. So one of the things about this game is as you play it, you will learn to memorize the art, and you might recognize the things that are going to happen as you encounter the cards again. And so you can, as you learn the land, as you learn the layout of the land, as you learn about its inhabitants and its certain places, you will be able to have a more fruitful and a less dangerous trip through each subsequent adventure. And that is kind of a cool thing. But yeah, that is basically Doom Pilgrim. This game is really going to appeal to a certain type of person. Somebody who is really into weird fiction or who likes very simple experiences that give a lot of theme and a lot of atmosphere. I can see this game really, really appealing to some people who are more into or who require more mechanisms and strategy and tactics. This is probably not going to appeal to that kind of gamer. For me, I absolutely love this thing. I think it is awesome. I've had so much fun, so many cool things that have happened to me, so many interesting experiences. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to most about this game is actually using it as a series of prompts and little adventure hooks for solo role playing, because you have all of these great pieces of art, and then you can match those with different encounters. You could say, okay, so this guy here is a watchman, and you could read about him. Now, you will have to kind of massage the mechanisms and the keywords to fit within whatever system you are currently playing in, but that should be really, really easy to do. And I think Doom Pilgrim should be a very useful tool for playing a certain kind of solo RPG. Maybe something like Runecairn. I can see this really working with Runecairn. It could definitely work with Sacrifice, to offer up a whole bunch of different kinds of weird encounters and locales and strange NPCs to meet in a game of Sacrifice. And definitely in a game of Morkborg, I think this could be really, really put to great use in games like these 3, maybe Into the Odd, just small little kind of rules light games with high strangeness and weirdness and otherworldly locales, otherworldly settings. I think Doom Pilgrim could be used to great effect. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at Doom Pilgrim from Wardclaw Games today, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.